Over the last 10 years, I've probably put hoop house covers on 30 to 40 different hoop houses. And there's one thing that stresses folks out the most when it comes to covering their greenhouse, and it's this. The other thing people tend to worry about is this. All the snow buildup, is it going to stay on there? Is it going to fall off? And is my hoop house going to be protected? In this video, I'm going to cover 9 tips to help you put your plastic on super tight and not have any troubles. Number 1, selecting actual greenhouse film. Quit going to big box stores. You're going to have a 6-month to 1-year film at best. When it eventually fails, you're going to have weird shredded plastic all over your farm. That's not what anybody wants. Properly sourcing a 6mm UV treated greenhouse plastic specific for the use is really the only way to go. It's not going to stretch, it's going to hold up in the wind, and it's going to help shed snow and protect your plants. It's also going to have the right light transmission and diffusion to help your plants grow their very best. Number 2, an inspection of the frame. You're going to want to make sure that you don't have any pieces of metal that didn't quite exactly line up. You don't want any heads of screws sticking up or a cross connector bent or something weird during the installation. Just make sure that everything is nice and smooth. I have 2 different camps out there. One, they want to duct tape the entire world to cushion everything, and if that's what you want to do, great. And then the other camp is, I don't want to see duct tape, it doesn't look great, I'm not going to do it. Whatever you want to do, it's your hoop house, it's your farm, do what you like, but a little bit of cushion from time to time, especially on cross connectors or anytime 2 pieces of metal meet, might be a good idea. Number 3, install on a calm, warm day. Ideally, a temperature range of 60 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 15 to 24 degrees Celsius if you're anywhere else besides the United States. Installing the film within this temperature range ensures the plastic is pliable and can be stretched tightly over the frame without becoming too loose or too tight once the temperature changes. This helps in achieving a snug fit and reduces the risk of wrinkles or sagging as the film expands and contracts with temperature fluctuations. One of the things you'll see is if you do this on a warm day, especially in the morning, you might have these little micro ripples along the way, but as soon as everything starts heating up, it becomes nice and smooth. The other little bonus tip in here that I'll give you is during the building, if you just saw something that you didn't quite like about your frame and you thought it was going to drive you nuts, by the time you cover it with the plastic, that's going to disappear and you're never going to see it again. Securing the film. Start by securing the film at one end of the greenhouse using spring wire and lock channel to evenly hold the film in place. Ensure it's tightly secured to prevent it from loosening over time. Lock channel, spring wire, best thing to ever happen to greenhouses. Make sure you use it. Number 5, gradually stretch the film. One of the things I like to tell farmers whenever they're putting on their greenhouse film, you're up on a ladder, you can't simply pull the plastic down once, put it down the end wall and wiggle wire it into place. What you're going to find is you're going to be on the ladder, hopefully maybe have a friend or something that can help you out there. So as you pull it, they can hold it, regrip, pull it again. It's that slight gentle pressure. The longer the hoop house, the more important this comes to be. So if we're on a 80 foot or 100 or 110 foot, 120 foot hoop house, we're going to pull that multiple times before we start putting the wiggle wire in. That's the other good thing about wiggle wire is if you pull and you start seeing a seam, you can always undo that and pull it down and adjust it a little bit more. And that's going to help keep that plastic tight once everything is secure. Number 6, overstretching the film. This is more towards a smaller, like a 20 foot to 40 foot structure, and that if you're pulling the plastic too tight, so tight in fact that you're leaving little indentions where your fingertips are, that's a good indication that you probably reached the end of the line of how far that plastic's going to go. It's highly unlikely that you're going to pull it far enough that you're going to cause any damage, but it can happen. And if it's too tight, if there's any fluctuation, especially in a windstorm, you may risk a tear. Number 7, one of my personal favorites, is to think about covering the greenhouse in sections. Your top roof part is going to go from hipboard to hipboard and from end wall to end wall. We're not going to worry about the roll-up sides. We're not going to worry about the end walls right now. So get it out of your head that you have to cover everything all at once and that you're just covering little sections at a time. When you first put it up, you're going to go from end wall, lock it down, pull it very tightly, lock it down, go to the hipboard, snug it up a little bit, install the lock channel, go on the other side, pull down on the hipboard and install that. And there's your roof. After that, you can consider your roll-up sides, so take a look at those particular recommendations. Then you can move to the end walls, in which I like to start at the bottom and work my way up. If you work your way down, you're starting with a curb. I like that straight edge at the bottom, and you can pull up and out to really even out that square that's going to make up the end wall. And then you can start at your doors and work your way out, and that plastic's just going to get tighter and tighter, just like if you were putting a head on a drum. Number 8, before you trim everything out, check for wrinkles. Now is the time that you can easily take out wiggle wire and probably pull and move over just a little bit to take out any of those creases that you may see. Again, it's highly, highly unlikely that you're going to overstretch even at this time. But once you're able to pull those wrinkles out, go ahead and trim out all the plastic and take all the excess off. But just leave yourself about 3 or 4 inches just to get some fingers in case you have to restretch or anything later on. And number 9, and one of the most important things, is just a regular maintenance check, especially before or after a storm, or at least monthly, and that you're going to take some time out. Instead of just walking into the hoop house and paying attention to all your plants, you're going to purposefully look both on the outside and on the inside, looking up and making sure that you don't see any holes. And if you do, you can use repair tape on that to reduce the chances of those holes expanding or tearing further, and just making sure that over time, as the hoop house rocks back and forth and side to side a little bit with any weather, that it's not loosening up or causing any problems. Fix those problems now, and your hoop house is going to shed wind, snow, and rain with no problem for years to come. We love making little tip videos like this. If you have any questions, please ask them in the links below. And while you're down there, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss anything moving forward. If you're new to the channel, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.